My first memory of Elliot was in the autumn of 1994. I was a college freshman, and I had traveled to Moorhead from St. Cloud to visit my friend Neil, who was attending Moorhead State University. When I got there, Neil brought me to Elliot's dorm, on the way regaling me with tales of this seemingly mythical creature that I was about to meet. Everything that I had heard from Neil up until that point I had just taken to be hyperbole before meeting Elliot. It was not only proven true, but it just now seemed inadequate and an insufficient way of describing this man. Most tales are larger than the men they're written about, but within Elliot is this rare exception where the written word just can't seem to contain him. We spent that evening in Elliot's dorm room, passing around Sculpey and drinking beer, listening to music, gorging on pizza from the 24-hour delivery service, Pizza Patrol. And those were formative days of my life, and I like to think of that one evening as one in particular that laid certain foundation stones in the path that I would continue to follow throughout my life.
My first memory of Jackson, well, I don't really remember the first one.
Elliot Jackson is one of the, probably one of the most versatile musicians that I've ever played with. One of the first times I met Elliot Jackson, or one of the first times that I remember meeting Elliot Jackson, was at the first rehearsal that that I attended as the guitarist for the Women. Elliot Jackson was also a member of that band. He played trombone, and I had been following the band for a while, going to a couple of their practices now and again. But I don't think Elliot had actually ever gone to one of the rehearsals that I had attended as an observer. So I was curious to meet him. And that first practice that I was invited to was actually at Elliot's house. We were noodling on our guitars, and from the shadows of the back of the apartment, from one of the back rooms of the apartment, came this giant shadow. And that shadow came into the dimly lit basement, the brown basement of the brown house, and that shadow was Elliot Jackson. The thing is that that image of this big man is stuck with me, because I think that's what a lot of people would say about Elliot. He's very big.
I guess he's the gentle giant.
As the last I checked, according to the information that I've seen about Elliot on Wikipedia, he's technically a giant.
My first thought, I recall quite vividly, was that Elliot was a giant among men. Tall as a god, twice as clever. It only makes sense that he was a sculptor.
He's basically a normal-sized human if the world were 1/8 bigger than it is now. So if everything was just a little bit bigger, like if your car was 1/8 bigger than it is now, then it would be Elliot-sized. If I was 1/8 bigger than I am now, I would be Elliot-sized. But that's not how the world is. So we're all smaller than Elliot, and the world is a little bit too small for him.